Another gentleman who was on the USA Chamber now is involved in many projects in the community. Presently, he's looking at the issues of the Erie Canal towpath and so on and so forth. Are two that come to mind. And quality people. They don't give. I shouldn't say don't give. I don't believe they give. I don't believe they give hundreds of dollars to the party. And one's a Republican, and one's a Democrat. So should not be about party affiliations.
Right.
It's people who have been involved in the community and wants to help us out. And I think that's the way you should really choose. As it is now, it's okay. I gave $500 to a particular major party. Okay.
Yeah. Josh, do you have something?
Well, thinking about more of the question. I mean, you spoke in the beginning about the legislation needing independent thinkers.
Yes.
But then you later say, and maybe it's not a then, but
Oh, that's right.
you know, the IDA can be fixed if Democrats take power.
Well,
Are there not Democrats who maybe should be replaced as well?
The issue is that for the IDA to be replaced, the majority party chooses them. Right now, we have a Republican legislature, not a Democratic legislature. That's where I was going with that.
Okay.
So basically, you agree with the basic idea of an IDA. You think that it does technically serve a useful purpose. It's just if you had the proper membership of it.
You need a proper membership, proper direction, and of course, direction from Albany. As you know, the Assembly passed a reform, IDA reform legislation. Sam Hoyt, excuse me. I'm trying to remember. Chaired that. It's part of his committee. I support that legislation that he put forth, accountability and so on and so forth. When it came to conference, the Senate walked away, and the senator that introduced the IDA legislation is May Sanders. Now, the Senate walked away from the conference, and the issue is living wage. You have to give folks, well, for example, my best reference to that is Ford, Henry Ford. Henry Ford built cars, as we all know, and then he had this little brainstorm that said, well, if I pay my employees a proper wage, they will buy my cars. Wow, that's growth. I use that same analogy with the IDA. You go ahead, you give taxpayer money out, and you basically say to that industry or to that I'll say industry, we're going to give you taxpayer money, but in return, this is what we want. We want you to grow jobs. We want you to put jobs in and pay a living wage. I don't think that is an unreasonable request. Taxpayer dollars, then we should ask, actually somewhat demand that living wage be part of the deal. Because now those folks have money in their hand, what are they going to do with it? Well, I don't think they're going to invest it because we know what the investment rate is in the country in savings. But they will spend the money in the community. That's wealth. If you go ahead and you don't give directions to someone who's asking you money, or put this way, you don't negotiate that and say, well, this is our parameters. They're not going to do it. This is happening now. There's no parameters. AES, right? Who would say that AES would have built that $25 million pier if they didn't have the IDA funds? I would say they probably would have done that. Here's the other thing too about that pier. That pier right now is being built with no environmental impact studies. Now that is absolutely mind-boggling. So I mean, you got these ocean freighters, lake freighters, and you got some very expensive homes on the lake. Now you have a lake freighter in the middle of the backyard. Now there again, right? I have no input. I can't say no to that. And then of course the other piece, what the IDA negotiated with AES, is that the town cannot assess that. Henry Slomo can assess that, the IDA. Does that make sense to you? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I guess just another county staffing question. You've seen the articles in the paper where we have salaries of what different people in the county offices make and stuff like that. Are there too many employees in Niagara County? Is it bloated? Are the salaries too high? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I would have to take a look at him from a standpoint. I mean, I come from private industry. I was always amazed at how my private employer would stack the deck and have a lot more white collar managers and pay the white collar managers a lot of money. What we always did in the private industry is take a look at it and say, okay, how many white collar employees do you have versus the number of blue collar employees that report to you? Is it 1 to 10? Is it 1 to 20? You know, because that makes a lot of difference when you look at the overall wages. And and I brought that up to a lot of times to our district managers when they talk about staffing. I mean, we talk about staffing all the time.
Right.
There was the main issue with staffing. Staffing is the ratio between white collar workers and blue collar workers. I don't know staffing in the county. I can't answer that.
Anybody else have anything, or one last one?
Have one?
I have one quickly.
Oh, I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit more about using investments in green to create wealth. I mean, what do you mean by that? What's the county's role?
I prefer that question. All right. The issue is and of course I have the staffing problems with the IDA too. If miners go out, we don't get enough good jobs. Galisano up in Somerset is looking at, if he hasn't already done it, Doolin Energy, the windmills. All right. Now, when you look at that, look at the number of jobs that could create. For example, did you know that majority of the components of that windmill is made in Europe? Why can't it be made here? And I'm talking about wires, and I'm talking about the small stuff, the generators and all that other stuff. All has to be imported.